Good TGIF. Thanks for joining us on the Weather Channel. I'm Vivian Brown along with Bruce Edwards. It is just a little bit before 5 o'clock Eastern Time. We're glad you joined us. It's very early this morning, but we wake up once again an active weather pattern already this morning.
That's right. Some messy stuff here on this Friday the 14th. It is a Friday indeed. Most folks feel a little bit better about that fact. And today is also the start of the Macon Cherry Blossom Festival down in Macon, Georgia. Big event, and that starts today. And today is also Employee Appreciation Day. So appreciate your employees. Appreciate we're here at 5 a.m. Let's take a look at the situation across the country. Satellite cranks up in motion, and as Vivian said, though, we've got some problems. Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast into New York City, where we got a little sleet and snow mixture right now. We've got the meteorological goulash on the map from the Great Lakes into the Big Apple and then southbound into the Gulf Coast. We have showers, we've got thunderstorms, we've got snow, sleet, rain, freezing rain. We've got it all on the weather map. Water vapor imagery will be coming into focus in just a moment, and it'll show us perhaps a little bit better the storm system as it cranks on up. We can see an area of low pressure moving on through, and that continues to work its way north, as you see. And once again, we're getting rain in the Ohio Valley, and that's the one place we absolutely do not need it, but unfortunately we're seeing out there. Thunderstorms popping into Florida. And we have some cold air with this trough digging back down into the Continental Divide and across the Canadian border and coming stateside. There's a situation. Again, you got the low moving north with the cold front. Warm, moist air here overriding the cold air. So we're seeing some sleet and snow in New York, some freezing rain and drizzle into Pennsylvania, back into the Great Lakes. And then you get to the snow, blowing and drifting snow and cold air into the plains. Whew, it is indeed busy. Now, quiet over New England right now, but not for long. As we mentioned, at both JFK and LaGuardia, a little sleet and snow mixture at the present time. You get some snow in the Poconos, the Catskills. You get back up in towards Buffalo and Niagara Falls and around Jamestown, New York, and you've got a little ice there. Freezing rain and drizzle in the valleys of central Pennsylvania around Johnstown, Altoona, Ligonier. Be careful there. The Laurel Highlands very dicey. Freezing rain around Detroit. In Cleveland, the freezing precipitation changed all over to rain as the warm front is buckled north, so you get warmer air, and thus you pick up the liquid precipitation. But it's on the edge of this shield here. You're getting the snow and then the ice, particularly as you get in here around Buffalo. That's where what would appears to be like thunderstorms. Well, more than likely it's a little sleet mixed in at the precipitation level. And look at the temperatures, very critical, of course, to how things shape up. It is 20 in Boston, 19 in Albany, just above freezing in New York, so we're going to see some freezing on contact here. But Rochester's at 23, so temperature's pretty cold. It'll take a while before that ice changes over to rain. Then Erie's at 36 with rain. Freezing rain now around Detroit, right on the cusp of that freezing mark. But Pittsburgh, look at this, above freezing at 38. Look at Charleston and Cincinnati, both at 57 degrees. 43 with the rain, the best location in the nation, Cleveland, Ohio. But then as the cold air wraps around, look at the single digits and the sub-zero readings. 2 below in Minot, freezing in Chicago, but still mild 45 in St. Louis, Missouri. But there's the low, and it wraps around, and once again we see that precipitation in the form of some snow, blowing and drifting snow. Wind chill values are going to be rather nasty across this region of the country. Here's the radar of the Great Lakes showing the wet weather moving up. You get around Detroit, Dearborn, Michigan, a little freezing rain and ice. If you can delay your trip on the highways for a little while yet, you'll be better off, because then we'll change over to a little bit of rain as you get the warmer air up there. The commute will be a lot better. And then as we work our way to the south, we see where the frontal system is located. And here comes the warmth. And of course, we've got showers. We've got some thunderstorms, particularly into South Carolina, from Columbia down towards Hilton Head, the Golden Isles of Georgia. And thunderstorms into Florida, from Daytona Beach and Orlando down towards the Gold Coast around Fort Lauderdale, and well, around Cape Coral, where the PGA Tour is playing their Honda Classic. A little dicey here this morning, and you may be dodging storms. It could be a little rough day down through here. And here comes our front, and still out ahead of it, some thunderstorms around Macomb, Mississippi, and you get back towards the Ozarks, and you get around Springfield and Joplin, Missouri. A little freezing rain and drizzle here, so lots of action going on. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic, and then once again you can see precipitation all in the form of rain, some thunderstorms around Columbia and Orangeburg here, heading on down towards Charleston and Hilton Head. Everything's moving northeast. And then as we head south, you can see the showers and the thunderstorms down here back towards the Golden Isles of Georgia, from about Jacksonville south to St. Augustine, Daytona Beach, Palatka, Green Cove Springs. Some pretty good downpours here. Another batch of storms moving on up towards Appalachia Bay. Everything is heading in the northeast. Now the Atlanta metro area, you're sandwiched between some storminess. Back over towards Augusta, there's some rain. Back to Anniston, but in between it's fairly quiet, and right now it's not bad for your trip into work. However, we'll be watching this moisture here arriving a little later on, and things will go downhill. Temperature profile here shows a wide range in temperature. 76 Miami, 70 Tampa and Jacksonville, 61 Atlanta and Nashville and Little Rock. Other side of the front, 34 Oklahoma City, 50 in Dallas, 62 in Houston. Out west we go. There's your cold air in the northern high plains and Rockies, 3 below in Williston, 4 below in Cutbank. Chilly in Seattle and Portland, 36 there. Freezing in Salt Lake, only 10 in Denver right now. And we're going to see the temperatures really go flip-flop here. San Diego's at 58. We do have the upsloping here, and there is some snow around Denver and Colorado Springs. Fairly light, though. That's what we're seeing, a fairly tranquil pattern. And the offshore breeze into Southern California is keeping it fairly mild this morning. So there you have the big picture all in one piece. We see the snow and the ice. Be careful out here from the, say, Detroit over towards Erie and Buffalo and wrapping back into some of the valleys. And then around New York City, the snow and the sleet mixture is occurring right now. All this moisture is heading northeast, and again, it will start as a little ice, should gradually change over to a little bit of snow across central New England and the northeast quarter, and the rains at times heavy, localized flooding a possibility through the Ohio Valley and the southeast. So there you have the big picture. Now, let's see what we got going on for you with your forecast, and here with the details, Vivian Brown.
Okay, the midday hour shows all the wet weather over the eastern half of the country. It's all in association, of course, with our storm system as it slowly moves off to the east. I say slowly because yesterday we were dealing with tons and tons of moisture over the Mississippi Valley. The good news is that most of the Mississippi Valley today will dry out, and the Ohio River Basin as the rain heads for the immediate eastern seaboard. It'll start off as snow and sleet and then change over to rain across northern New England. So later on today the warmer air will move in, so the sleet and snow that we'll find this morning in New York City by the midday hour will certainly change over to rain, and much of the same across Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. But snow could be locally heavy across northern New England. In the mountains now, the green, the white mountains of Vermont and New Hampshire and the mountains of Maine, again, snow could be locally heavy. We've had some heavy amounts of snow right across the central parts of Wisconsin yesterday, and it looks as though today, with the wraparound moisture, more snow expected. With a lake effect, or the lake-enhanced conditions here off of Lake Superior, snow could be locally heavy even again today. It'll become windy across much of the Mississippi Valley. St. Louis, the forecast today, windy conditions, much of the same. Dallas and Houston, as this front swings through and high pressure builds in, we'll find upsloping winds over the mountains here. That means winds from the east hitting up against the mountains. You get the air to lift, and once the air lifts and reaches a certain level of condensation, then we'll find precipitation. And when that happens, the air is cold enough that we'll find snow for the mountains, Colorado and Wyoming. And you can see it remains unsettled over the Pacific Northwest. The southwest, though, dry and warm. So let's get the details as we zoom in over the northeast first. Again, starting off as snow and sleet and then changing over to rain as the warm air comes in from the south. Afternoon highs today like this. Still cold over northern New England. We'll find 50s today, Baltimore and D.C. with the wet conditions. And again, wet across much of the south again today. Windy behind the surface front. But you can see it's going to be wet in Atlanta again.
Okay, you just open the bottom of the canister and sprinkle the granules onto the soil or mulch. That's it. Green prevents weeds from growing for 3 months, guaranteed. You just open the canister